Episode 8. The cottage in the woods. After a restless night in the forest, Snow White awakens to the sound of birds singing. She continues to wander until she stumbles upon a small, quaint cottage hidden among the trees. The cottage is charming, with a thatched roof and smoke curling from the chimney, but everything about it is tiny. Snow White, desperate for shelter, knocks on the door, but there is no answer. Hesitantly, she pushes the door open and steps inside. The interior is cozy, but clearly designed for someone much smaller than herself. Tiny chairs, a small table, and 7 little beds all in a row. Snow White, too tired to investigate further, decides to rest for a while. Episode 9. The 7 dwarfs return as Snow White sleeps peacefully in one of the small beds. The owners of the cottage return home. They are 7 dwarfs who work in the nearby mines, digging for gold and precious gems. The dwarfs are surprised to find their home disturbed. There are dishes on the table, the chairs have been moved, and one of their beds is occupied. They cautiously approach the bed and find Snow White sleeping there. At first, they are suspicious and whisper among themselves, wondering who this stranger could be. But when Snow White awakens and explains her story, the dwarfs are moved by her plight. They introduce themselves and offer her shelter, asking her to stay and keep house for them. Episode 10. A new life begins. Snow White gratefully accepts the dwarfs' offer and begins her new life in the cottage. She quickly adapts to her new routine, cleaning the house, cooking meals, and making sure everything is in order before the dwarfs return from their work in the mines. The dwarfs grow fond of Snow White, and she becomes like a sister to them. Snow White, in turn, feels safe and happy for the first time since fleeing the castle. She spends her days exploring the forest, singing with the birds, and making friends with the woodland creatures. Life in the cottage is peaceful, and Snow White believes she has finally escaped the Queen's wrath.